Yes, you're watching the South Australian Sports Show. Thanks for staying with us. Probably sometimes weird and wonderful things happen in sport, and we kind of feel like we've seen most things when you've been around a long time. But let me say this, 2 weeks ago in rugby, the most bizarre thing happened this weekend.
As a result of something a fortnight ago.
Exactly right. So we thought to clear it up, we get our rugby expert David Webb in to take us through it. Dave, thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Or his nickname's Mossy.
Mossy, could be Mossy. It is. Sometimes we do call him Mossy. Bulldogs Roosters,
yes.
2 weeks ago meet leading in to the grand final this Saturday. What happened 2 weeks ago?
I mean, the major bit starts 2 weeks ago. You can go back through the whole season with the South Adelaide Bulldogs. They've had issues with the NRLSA throughout the whole year, and they've lost points through the whole year through varying things. We then hit the major semi-final, and so they finished top 2, and the winner of that then gets the week off as in AFL. After the game, nothing happened during the game. Nobody was sent off, nobody was yellow carded or anything like that, or given 10 minutes. After the game, 4 of their players were cited for striking.
Post-game?
Post-game. So video review.
Okay.
The NRLSA has video there for review purposes to be able to knock this kind of stuff on the head.
But it happened during the game, obviously, but post-game they, cited the player like you would AFL.
Play, so the referees didn't pick it or see it, so it was cited after the game.
Right, so the video evidence has caught it.
Yep.
Then they're cited.
Yep.
What happens next?
So on the Monday after the major semi-final, NRLSA contacted the South Adelaide Bulldogs. They said you have 24 hours to submit a plea, guilty or not guilty.
Yes.
If they miss that 24 hours, which they did, then it's an automatic guilty plea and the suspensions are handed down, which they were.
Yep.
After those suspensions were handed down, the South Adelaide Bulldogs then asked for an appeal.
Right.
And were told, well, unless you have new evidence, there is no appeal dismissed. Therefore, they went into that game with those 4 players suspended. Which they didn't agree with, and they say is the straw that broke the camel's back, and it's led to them forfeiting the grand final.
So the 4 players didn't appeal when they had the opportunity, tried to appeal, the club tried to appeal later, and they said, sorry, that's the rules, you can't appeal. We turn up to play the grand final on Saturday. Roosters, Bulldogs.
Roosters,
Both teams warm up.
Both teams warmed up. The Bulldogs kitted up, warmed up, did all the pre-game stuff for a grand final.
Yep.
Massive day. People flown into state to watch the grand final.
Oh no!
Huge amount of interest within South Australia, and referee even blows a whistle to start the game. At which point the Bulldogs kicker just throws the ball off the tee, and they all took a knee. Banners were made. The entire Bulldogs support group went on there. Pictures all over Facebook. You can find the video deadly easily.
Wow. So hang on. It can't stop there. I mean, this is the tail wagging the dog.
So just to be clear, the NRLSA have made no official statement, and neither of the NRL. The NRL are going to investigate this, and while I'm speaking to you, no statement has been made. All my information has come from a source within NRLSA. They'll get all the facts before they make a judgment, but one would suggest that the footage of the striking is out there as well.
Sure.
And anybody who sees it says, well, yeah, you're going to have to spend some time on the side.
But whether you get that right or wrong, the fact is you can't bring suspended players into a match situation. That's just the way it is. And as much as we don't like it, you've got a commitment to the game, which is bigger than the 4 individuals or even your club. I mean,
it's the most bizarre circumstance, because I could understand if they said, if that's, well, I don't agree with it, but if they had have said, if you're not going to hear our appeal, we're not turning up on Saturday to play.
I'll tell you how strongly I feel about it.
To turn up, to warm up, to do all the stuff, and then the ball comes out and go, okay, now we're not playing. That's
No. To me, I feel very strong. I would give every single one of those players, administrators, a lifetime ban.
The administrators?
Everyone concerned with that club, to my way of thinking, would get a lifetime ban. Well, I know that's tough, but you cannot do that to a grand final. That brand has enough hard work to build traction in a non-rugby league state, and to use the showcase event of the year to prove a point. That's basically sticking one big finger up at the competition saying, up yours.
Well, what's your feel, Dave? What do you think is fair?
And I think, well, I think players, administrators, look, the mail I'm getting is that South Adelaide Bulldogs, their licence won't be renewed next year.
Yeah.
That team won't exist next year.
Yeah,
good.
Those players will then obviously move on. And
I don't want to meet them in the street, obviously, because I'll be in trouble. But
but in saying that, I hear what you're saying, and I'm thinking the league is trying to develop. We're now taking a team out. I'm trying to draw a parallel with someone, and maybe the Essendon saga, where you're suspended for a year. You can play, but your points are worth nothing. But that's rewarding them for bad behaviour. I just sense if you're
let me ask you this:
will they come back? Could they come back a year suspended? The players will go and play somewhere else. Would the club survive that? Would they regroup the following year to play again, or would that be the end of them?
To be honest, I can't really answer that. They're obviously south of the city, and normally when you look at south of the city, and to draw a parallel with rugby union, Onkaparinga has a massive area in which they can draw players from.
Yes.
So a South Adelaide team, yes, it will always have a massive player base to work from. I think you're right, the administration of the club certainly needs to rethink how they deal with things. I have no issue. And look, we've all been involved in sport.
Of course, you get emotional.
The SANFL have come under stick from all sorts of people, and that's what happens when you're the governing body. That said, though, the tail can't wag the dog.
No, and let's
Lifetime ban for the administrators and the players, or just the administrators?
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
They knew what they were doing. If you don't like the ban, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You've got an appeal process there, and you had a process that you could have gone through.
Yep.
You chose not to go through, and then because things don't go your way, like a school kid, you say, well, I'm not going to play the grand final.
I probably need a bit more information as to who orchestrated it all.
So do I as well. But let's use AFL as an example. We get a couple of players suspended in the preliminary final, and grand final they go,
not playing.
we're not playing, mate.
Yeah.
We're not playing. Sure. We don't think it's fair.
Yeah.
What would happen? You tell me.
Oh, it would be massive.
Let's say, for example, Tex Walker in the elimination final.
Yes.
Cops someone, and then the Crows say, well, we're not playing the grand final.
We're not playing the grand final anymore. Now,
I understand
I'd hate to think what the AFL would do, but it wouldn't be a slap on the wrist.
No, it would never happen. So.
Well, why wouldn't it happen? It has happened. Well, that's what makes the story so unusual.
Yeah, look, there's two things that make it unusual. One that it happened.
Yes.
But the second one is because you can get away with those sorts of things in the lower profile sports. So unless they're exposed and it's discussed, someone goes, oh, we'll give them a bit of a slap on the wrist. So here we are, we're exposing it. But if you go, we're exposing it, where's all the other exposure been? Well, so have you read about it in the paper?
We're talking about NRL.
But now what happens is
we're talking about a national competition, National Rugby League South Australia. But if this happened in New South Wales between Rabbitohs and the Sharks,
it'd be massive.
It's a front page of every paper, and there's.
You're probably right.
You would say worldwide.
Yes.
At that level. I mean, and this is likely to go.
This is state level.
This is likely to go Australia-wide. The NRL are investigating it, and they will look at the South Adelaide Bulldogs, and they'll probably look at NRLSA as well. So let's be perfectly honest. At the moment, we sit sort of in between. If there is an issue with NRLSA, the NRL will find it.
Yes.
We're getting bits and bobs from both sides of the story. I don't agree. My opinion when I heard about it was that South Adelaide should have won the thing.
Yes.
And then given the medals back. We've seen that before in the Olympics and things like that. That would have been as strong a message.
Would have been more dignified, for sure.
But at least...
What would you do, Dave, if you were sitting there now and you haven't got all the information to understand that? What's your feeling on what would be a fair suspension?
I think we probably look at around... I mean, if you look at what we're doing, it's bringing the game into disrepute.
Yep.
I would look at probably the same sort of sentences that were handed down for Essendon.
Yep.
The same kind of
I'm thinking at least a year minimum, and maybe if the administrators knew, then they've got they're probably looking at a couple of years.
And they need to give medals to the...
Oh, the other team have won it.
The Roosters are premiers in 2017. So it could be a little bit of a hollow one, and there's people who are playing in that Roosters side who aren't going again next year.
Yeah.
So their final game of their career is that.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, appreciate you coming in. It is the most bizarre thing, and we'll follow it with a bit of interest. We'll have to get you back to find out what happened with the penalty.
Yeah, fantastic.
Appreciate your time. Hope you've enjoyed the show, everybody. Look forward to your company next week. Bye for now.